There are two types of students out there. Number one, we have the lazy student, right? These students, they gamble, they spend all their money, they study just enough to pass, but they don't really do anything much else in their life. You know, they may have a job, but they spend it all on useless things like boba, labubus, all these consumerism things, and they don't have anything in their bank account. Next, we have what is called the looks maxes of the community. So these are the people that are committed to the grind. They have like 14 side hustles. They network to everywhere. They go to networking events. They start LinkedIn maxing. But ultimately, they both have something very, very in common. Whether you're in uni, college, high school, anywhere in between, all of you want to get rich, to get wealthy, right? Well, the bad news is that most students are broke. You see, most people, when they say they want to get rich, they only focus on, the income part, where the money comes into your bank account. But what most people don't consider is the finance part, right? Most students, you included, I know you're neglecting it. You don't care about your finances. You're probably thinking that I'll deal with it when, I have more money and I actually have to focus on it. You see, most people in uni, when I ask them, how do you manage your money? You know what they tell me? They'll tell me I don't. See, that's the issue here, because students only look at the next step. They can't see beyond the horizon, right? As a student, your expenses are low, your income is low, and your responsibilities are also low as well. What that means is that if you make a mistake, the cost of making that mistake is less. You don't have a family that relies on your income to survive. You're less likely to have debt, and any mistake that you make at this point, when you don't have mass amounts of money, is pretty much inconsequential. The cost of making a mistake is lower. So with that being said, there are two parts to becoming wealthy. Number one is making money, right? So offense, your income. This is what people associate with making money. Increasing your income, increasing cash flows, increasing whatever. Part two is keeping it. Defense, right? This is everything to make sure that you protect the money that you make. So I'm a social guy. I like to walk around and talk to people. And I've met people that are really, really good at making money and talking like the incomes are like skyrocketing, let alone doing it while studying. But after, intruding on their privacy for a bit more, I found out that, the bank accounts are next to nothing. In the same sense, I've met people whose incomes are super, super low, but they have been able to build quite a big nest egg. And this happens because, the first person, even though they make a lot of money, they spend money on useless luxuries. They spend it on clothes, on watches, to impress people that they don't like. But things are about to change. I am going to talk at you a sequence, a system, if you will, that if you follow, you will graduate ahead of 95% of your peers. Before you do anything else, make sure you have an emergency fund, all right? So the general rule is that you should have 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved up in a high yield saving account, so that in case of a rainy day, right? Say you lose your job, there are expenses like speeding tickets, car needs to be repaired, something in your house needs to be repaired, that you have the money to actually pay for it and fix it. The defense of finance is all about making sure that you are covered and you are safe to pursue the big things, to make big money, to increase your income, to pursue other of your passion. So that is why you need to have 3 to 6 months of your living expenses in a high yield savings account for emergency expenses, should they happen. I know that time frame seems a bit ambitious, especially if you haven't started saving yet, which is why I think it is okay to have $1,000 to $5,000 worth of money, just to make sure that in case anything happens, that everything is all right. So while you're building an emergency fund, the next thing you have to worry about is debt. The most common things that uni students might have in debt are either credit card loans, so consumer debt, or car loans. My biggest tip to you is that you just pay that off. There's no need to keep debt like a pet. There's no need. So building both your emergency fund and paying off all your debts does two things. Number one, it increases margin. So instead of money going out of your account automatically every single month to like $300 to $900, wherever it is, to pay off a debt to a bank that has billions of dollars, you now have that free margin to build wealth. Now the second thing is that it builds confidence, all right? You pay off the debt, you have a solid foundation, you now have the confidence to pursue higher and more worthwhile things. But my guy, did you know that instead of doing an emergency fund and paying off my debt, I could have DCA'd that into the S&P 500 and made more money? Yes, although you would be correct, all right? While debt is usually 6 to 9%, the S&P 500 has historically given us 9 to 12% over like a 10 to 15 year timeline. But look, realistically, what's going to happen if you have any of these emergency things that you have to pay? You're going to have to prematurely take out your investments that might be doing well or they might not be to pay for them. Don't skip any steps. Make sure that you are financially well and have a solid foundation before you start getting to the fun stuff, which is... So offense is everything to do with increasing your income, either passively or actively. So by far the easiest way to gain wealth is investing. Most millionaires in the world have become millionaires simply by investing a small portion of the income towards the future, albeit 5 to 10 to 20 years. I talk to multiple students, and whenever the topic of investing comes up, they always say again that they'll wait for a later time when they actually have money. Well, this is actually incorrect thinking, because the magic of investing is letting two things happen, okay? Consistency and letting it compound. You can see on most investment charts, including our GOAT Warren Buffett, that investing is exponential. The more time you let it compound, the bigger your yield would be. And this is so easy. You don't have to have money at all. You don't have to use any big amount of money. All you have to do is have 15% of your income invested monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever you want, and let it sit aside. Over time, guaranteed returns, okay? If there's not guaranteed returns, there's probably an apocalypse. That's probably what's happening. So if you have a job and you invest, over time, it's basically guaranteed that you will make money. And not just that, a lot of money. So how many ways are there to invest, Brian? There are multiple ways to invest. There's index funds, right? Where you put in a sum of money and then you're offered like a basket of stocks. The second or more simpler way is that you look at retirement accounts. Like in Australia, we have superannuation. In the US, you might have a Roth IRA or a 401k. You can dabble into other types of investments like individual stocks, gold, Pokemon cards, but the golden rule here is that you want to buy the market, which is why buying an index fund for S&P 500 is the way to go, or retirement accounts where it's passively managed by big corporations that know what they are doing. So now everything we mentioned over there is passive income. Now let's start talking about the fun stuff, which is active income. Now when most students say they want to make some money, they go to the good old reliable, they get a job, right? While it isn't a bad option to start job maxing, there is a more efficient way to do so. While you're studying as a student, it is prime time for you to develop skills. Now this can range from hard skills to soft skills, right? Hard skills like trading, marketing, the other type of trading, or they can also range from soft skills like communication, teamwork, discipline, problem solving, or leadership. I spent about a year doing a fast food restaurant job at KFC.
He needs some milk.
And shortly after, I found out that I can actually start developing these skills outside of work, and my income went straight from making $17 an hour to $45 an hour. This happened because you never know what opportunities are available to you. And I was able to make myself, my skills worth more because I gained confidence from the things that I did before, right? Having a solid investment portfolio, having an emergency fund, making sure I wasn't in any other debt, this facilitated me to pursue other higher income opportunities. So that's about all I have to say for today. As 2025 comes to a close, I hope this video can offer you as a guide as to how you can get wealthy and also get ahead of your peers. If you like this video, just make sure to click the subscribe button and also to like this video, because I'm really giving you the secrets to how to get rich really, really quickly. So yeah, see ya.